All right, so we're taking a deep dive into Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club today.
Okay.
And this is all based on excerpts that you sent over.
Right.
And it sounds like it's not just about waking up early. It's about personal mastery and maybe even some pretty interesting characters.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how Sharma uses the story to kind of like get these self-help ideas across.
Mm.
So, it's not just a list of do this, do that, but it's like a whole narrative,
Yeah.
About productivity and growth.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
really
really
more.
magic.
I'm hooked already. So let's jump in. The book starts out with this really charismatic figure. He's called the Spellbinder, and he's giving this huge seminar,
Okay.
and everybody's captivated, and then bam, health scare right in the middle of this talk. Talk about a cliffhanger.
Wow.
So what happens next?
Well, this is where things get interesting. This kind of like unexpected turn of events leads to the Spellbinder meeting three pretty interesting people. A struggling artist, an entrepreneur who's about to burn out, and get this, a homeless man who's claiming that he built his fortune using the Spellbinder's teachings. Hold on, a homeless billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to hear more about this. What's this guy all about?
Right. He's like this street smart philosopher, and he's constantly challenging the artist and the entrepreneur to ditch their limiting beliefs. All those like, I can't or I'm not good enough thoughts. He basically calls out their excuses and their fears and tells them that those are the real roadblocks to reaching their potential.
Yeah, I mean, that's a powerful message. And we all have those thoughts sometimes, right? So what does this mystery billionaire do next?
Well, he invites them on a trip to Mauritius. He promises to reveal the secrets of the 5 a.m. Club. But there's a catch. They have to trust him completely and step way outside their comfort zones.
Sounds a little risky.
Definitely a leap of faith.
So what happens in Mauritius? Do they actually meet the Spellbinder?
They do. He's recovering on the island. But the billionaire's really the one driving home these 5 a.m. Club ideas. And it's not just about waking up early. It's about this thing he calls the victory hour.
Victory hour. Okay, I'm intrigued. What does that involve?
So from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., you divide it into 3 20-minute sections. Move, reflect, and grow.
Okay.
That's like a supercharged morning routine.
All right, break it down for me. What do you do in each section?
Okay, so move is all about vigorous exercise. Get that energy flowing, sharpen your focus, prime yourself for a productive day.
So not just hitting the snooze button and rolling over.
Nope.
What about reflect?
That's where you take a step back. Maybe you do some mindfulness journaling or just sit quietly and appreciate the moment. It's about mental clarity and getting in a good headspace before the day's craziness starts.
Okay, that makes sense. And finally, grow.
That's dedicated to personal development, reading, learning new skills, basically anything that expands your knowledge and helps you evolve.
So does this billionaire actually practice what he preaches?
Oh, absolutely. He's got some pretty unique habits, like the guy sleeps on the floor and takes cold showers to build mental toughness.
Whoa, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
But I guess it shows he's serious about pushing his limits.
Exactly. And it all connects back to what he told the artist and the entrepreneur at the seminar, right? Exceptional people make phenomenal things happen. He seems to apply that to everything, including personal growth. What stood out to you about those victory hour concepts?
I'm wondering, is it really for everyone? Could someone who's not, say, a billionaire actually benefit from a routine like that?
That's a great question. And the book actually dives deeper into how anyone can make these principles work for them. One of the keys is the habit installation protocol, which breaks down how to form new habits. And believe me, it's not as simple as it sounds.
Okay, so we're talking about habits now. Tell me more about this protocol.
So it has 3 phases: destruction, installation, and integration.
Okay.
Destruction is all about breaking down those old, unproductive habits that are holding you back. It's like clearing the way for something better.
So first you got to get rid of the bad stuff before you can bring in the good stuff.
Right.
What's next?
Then comes installation, where you consistently practice the new behavior you want to adopt. This is where discipline and commitment really come in. It's about showing up day after day, even when it's tough.
So no more hitting that snooze button.
Exactly.
But even if you manage to install a new habit, how do you make it stick?
That's where integration comes in, reaching that point where the new habit becomes automatic, like second nature. You're not even thinking about it anymore. You're just doing it.
That makes sense. But it also sounds really hard. The book also mentions this transient hypofrontality thing. What's that all about?
Ooh, this is where it gets really interesting. It's basically about achieving a state of heightened creativity and productivity. By minimizing distractions and getting into a flow state, imagine being so focused that you completely lose track of time and you produce your best work.
Sounds amazing. Almost like a superpower. But is that even possible in today's world with all the distractions we face?
Right, that's the challenge, isn't it? But the book suggests that by intentionally creating what Sharma calls a tight bubble of total focus, you can actually minimize those distractions and create the mental space for deep work.
Okay, I'm all for being more productive and creative, but how do we even begin to create that tight bubble? What are some practical steps?
Well, the book talks about this 90901 rule, which sounds pretty intense.
Right, lay it on me. What's the 9 to 9 rule?
So it's about laser focus and prioritizing your most important tasks. The idea is to dedicate the first 90 minutes of your workday for 90 consecutive days
Yeah.
to the single activity that, when done exceptionally well, will have the biggest impact on your goals.
Wow, that's a serious commitment. But I can see how dedicating your peak productivity time to your most important task could be a real game changer.
Yeah.
What happens after those 90 minutes? Do you just go back to business as usual?
Well, not exactly. The book also talks about the 60-10 method, which is all about balancing focused work with rest and recovery. So instead of trying to power through hours of work without a break, this method suggests working in 60-minute bursts followed by 10 minutes of complete detachment and rejuvenation.
So it's like interval training for your brain.
Exactly.
I can definitely relate to needing those breaks to avoid burnout.
Mm.
What other strategies does the book suggest for maximizing productivity?
There's this really interesting concept called the Daily 5 concept, which is all about celebrating small wins and focusing on progress, not perfection.
I like the sound of that. So instead of getting overwhelmed by the big picture, you just break it down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly. The idea is to identify 5 micro wins you want to achieve each day. Tasks that, while small, contribute to your overall goals. By intentionally acknowledging and celebrating these small victories, you create a positive feedback loop that keeps you motivated and on track.
It's like those to-do lists where you get to check things off as you go. It feels good to see those accomplishments, even if they're small. What other nuggets of wisdom does the billionaire share?
Well, he also emphasizes the 2WW principle, which stands for second wind workout, and the 2MP concept, which stands for second wind meditation
The
practice.
second win, like when you hit the wall,
Yeah.
but then you find a burst of energy to keep going.
Exactly. The 2WW is about pushing beyond your initial limits and tapping into a hidden reserve of energy and willpower. He suggests that when you feel like you've hit your physical or mental limit, there's often a second wind waiting to be unlocked.
That makes sense for a workout. But what about meditation? How do you have a second win with that?
That's where the 2MP comes in. It's about using meditation not only to quiet the mind, but also to access deeper levels of intuition, creativity, and problem-solving ability. He explains that the second wind isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional too.
So you're saying that even when you think you've reached your limit, in terms of focus and mental clarity, there's still more to tap into.
Precisely. By engaging in a second meditation practice, you can access a state of heightened awareness, clarity, and insight that can help you push through mental blocks and come up with innovative solutions.
I'm starting to see how all these seemingly separate ideas are actually connected and build on each other.
Absolutely. It's all about creating a holistic approach to personal growth and maximizing your potential in all areas of your life.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, but it seems like there's so much more to explore. I'm curious to hear about the next steps in this journey. Where do they go from here?
Well, the billionaire whisks them off on another adventure, this time to the majestic Taj Mahal in India.
The Taj Mahal. What does that have to do with the 5 a.m. club?
You'll have to wait for part 2 to find out, but I can tell you this. The billionaire uses this incredible setting to teach them about the power of habit formation and the importance of understanding how our brains work.
Okay, now I'm really hooked. I can't wait to hear what happens next. We'll be right back after a short break.
Sounds good. So, picture this, the Taj Mahal, one of the most beautiful structures in the world, and here's our billionaire using it as a backdrop to talk about habits.
Okay, gotta admit, that's a pretty unexpected classroom. What's the connection there?
He's making the point that building lasting habits takes that same kind of dedication and long-term vision that went into creating the Taj Mahal.
Right.
It wasn't built overnight.
That's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think about those goals you've been putting off. Maybe it's writing a book, starting a business, or even just getting in shape. Those things take time and consistent effort, just like building a masterpiece like the Taj Mahal.
Exactly. And he goes on to explain that a big part of forming those powerful habits is understanding how our brains actually work. He talks about neuroplasticity, how our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on our experiences and actions.
So you're saying we have the power to reshape our brains by changing our habits.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing.
That's pretty empowering.
It is, but it also means we need to be mindful of the habits we're creating because they're literally shaping our brains. He even shares some of his own kind of quirky habits, like sleeping on the floor and taking cold showers, to demonstrate how pushing your limits can strengthen your willpower and resilience.
Yeah, we talked about that before. I still can't imagine sleeping on the floor. But I get the point. Sometimes you need to do things that are uncomfortable to grow. What else does he teach them about habits at the Taj Mahal?
Well, he revisits the habit installation protocol,
Okay.
that three-stage process of destruction, installation, and integration that we discussed earlier.
Yeah, the process of breaking down old habits, installing new ones, and then making those new habits stick.
Right.
But how does he apply it to this idea of reshaping our brains?
He explains that each stage requires a different approach and mindset. He compares destruction to a rocket launching into space. It takes a massive amount of energy to break free from gravity's pull.
So breaking free from those old habits requires that same kind of energy and determination.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Then he compares installation to a plane reaching cruising altitude. Once you've overcome that initial resistance, it becomes easier to maintain the new behavior. And finally, integration is like reaching escape velocity. The habit becomes so ingrained that it requires minimal effort.
I like how he uses those analogies to explain something that can be pretty abstract. It makes it easier to understand.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's not always a smooth ride, right?
You're right, he acknowledges that setbacks are inevitable. There will be days when you slip up or feel like giving up. But he says the key is to view those setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow. It's about having that resilience to bounce back and keep moving forward.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't expect to change everything overnight.
Hmm.
But with consistent effort and the right mindset, you can make lasting changes. Where do they go after the Taj Mahal? More exotic locations.
Next stop, Rome.
Okay.
And you know what he focuses on there? The 20-20-20 formula. Breaking down specific strategies for each of those 20-minute pockets in the victory hour.
Okay, let's dive back into that. First up, move. What kind of exercise does he recommend?
He is a big advocate for starting the day with vigorous movement, not just to boost energy and focus, but to cultivate mental toughness as well. He suggests a combination of intense cardio like sprints or high-intensity interval training, followed by strength training to really push your limits.
Here's not messing around, but I guess the idea is to get your heart pumping and your mind sharp right. What about reflect? What does he suggest for those 20 minutes?
He emphasizes the importance of stillness, introspection, and gratitude. He's a big believer in mindfulness meditation, focusing on the present moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. He even suggests journaling as a way to process emotions and gain clarity.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. With all the noise and distractions of daily life, it's easy to forget to take a step back and just be present. And what about grow? How does he suggest we spend those final 20 minutes?
He really stresses the power of continuous learning. He challenges them to dedicate this time to reading, listening to audiobooks, watching documentaries, anything that feeds their curiosity and helps them grow.
It's something we can all do, right? No matter how busy we are, we can always find 20 minutes to learn something new. Does he offer any specific recommendations for what to read or listen to?
He encourages them to focus on topics that inspire them and challenge their thinking. He also suggests learning from mentors and role models, seeking guidance and inspiration from those who have already achieved what they aspire to.
So it's not just about consuming information, but also about finding people who can support and guide you on your journey.
Exactly. It's about building that dream team, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, challenge you, and help you become your best self.
Okay, so they're in Rome learning at the Victory Hour and building their dream teams. What happens next? Do they put all this knowledge into practice?
Oh, yeah. And remember that concept of the tight bubble of total focus we talked about? Well, the billionaire dives deeper into that, sharing specific strategies for creating that distraction-free environment. It's about being intentional with your time and energy, and protecting your focus from anything that might drain it.
I think we could all use a bit of that. Our phones are constantly buzzing with notifications, and there's always something vying for our attention.
Right.
How do we even begin to create that bubble?
Well, he introduces this thing called the 90901 rule, which is all about laser focus and prioritizing your most important tasks.
Wait, didn't we already talk about that one?
Yeah, we touched on it briefly.
Oh, yeah.
But he goes into more detail here. Remember, the idea is to dedicate the first 90 minutes of your workday for 90 consecutive days to the single activity that will have the biggest impact on your goals. He's saying it's about identifying that one crucial task that will move the needle the furthest and giving it your undivided attention during your peak productivity hours.
So no checking email, no scrolling through social media, just pure focused work on that one task. It sounds almost impossible, but I can see how powerful that would be if you could actually pull it off. What about the rest of the workday?
That's where the 60-10 method comes in, which we also touched on earlier. It's all about alternating periods of intense focus with periods of rest and recovery.
Right, those 60-minute work sprints followed by 10-minute breaks. It seems like he's really emphasizing the importance of balance, working hard but also giving yourself time to recharge.
Exactly. He understands that our brains and bodies aren't designed for sustained linear effort. We need those intermittent periods of rest to replenish our energy, sharpen our focus, and prevent burnout.
What other productivity hacks does he share?
He introduces this concept called the Daily 5 concept, which is about focusing on progress over perfection. The idea is to identify 5 small wins you want to achieve each day. It could be anything from finishing a report to making a healthy meal.
So you're breaking down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly. And by acknowledging and celebrating those small victories, you create a positive feedback loop that keeps you motivated and on track.
It's a good reminder that even small actions can add up to big results over time. It's not always about those grand gestures. It's about consistency and showing up day after day.
He also emphasizes the importance of traffic university, which is all about leveraging those seemingly wasted hours spent commuting or running errands.
You mean instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media or listening to the radio, we should be using that time to learn and grow?
Exactly. He suggests listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or even recording your own voice memos, reflecting on your goals, strategies, or ideas. It's about maximizing every available moment for self-improvement.
That's a great tip. We all have those pockets of time that we tend to waste. But with a little intention, we can turn them into opportunities for growth. What else does he share with them in Rome?
He introduces the 10X rule,
Okay,
which is about setting ambitious goals and taking bold action.
10x. So setting goals that are 10 times bigger than what you initially think is possible. That seems a bit crazy.
It might sound intimidating, but he believes that we often underestimate what we're capable of achieving. He encourages the artist and entrepreneur to dream big, set audacious goals, and then take consistent action to make those dreams a reality.
So it's not just about setting big goals, but also about taking action, right? You can't just sit around and wish for things to happen. You have to actually put in the work.
Absolutely. And he emphasizes that by setting those ambitious goals, you stretch your limits, unleash your creativity, and unlock a level of potential you never knew you had.
It's a reminder that sometimes we need to get out of our comfort zones and really challenge ourselves to achieve extraordinary things.
He also stresses the importance of prioritizing rest and recovery. He calls it the ancient ritual of early to bed.
So it's not just about waking up early. It's also about making sure you get enough sleep.
Exactly. He advocates for establishing a consistent sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and minimizing screen time in the hours leading up to sleep. He understands that rest and recovery are not indulgences, but essential components of peak performance.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget that our bodies and minds need time to recharge. But sometimes the most productive thing you can do is take a break.
He then takes them on another adventure this time to the bustling city of Sao Paulo, Brazil. But before they dive into the next lesson, he shares something deeply personal with them, the story of his late wife, Vanessa.
Whoa, that sounds like a major shift in tone. What's the significance of this story?
So he met Vanessa in a small bookstore, and they built a life together filled with love, laughter, and shared adventures. But tragically, she passed away. He shares his grief openly, revealing how much he loved her and how profound her loss has been.
That must have been incredibly difficult for him to share. What was the purpose of telling them this story?
It shows a different side of him. He's not just a successful entrepreneur and productivity guru. He's a human being who's experienced the full spectrum of life's joys and sorrows. And by sharing his vulnerability, he creates a deeper connection with the artist and entrepreneur.
It sounds like he's teaching them that success isn't just about external achievements. It's about living a full, meaningful life that embraces both the highs and the lows.
Exactly. And after sharing this personal story, he unveils a collection of magic charms, symbolic objects that represent core principles for living a fulfilling and impactful life.
Magic charms. Okay, this is getting more and more intriguing. What are these charms and what do they represent?
He gives these charms to the artist and entrepreneur as a reminder of the wisdom they've learned during their journey together. Each charm comes with a letter that expands on its meaning, offering a deeper dive into the principles it represents.
So it's like a tangible representation of everything they've learned. That's a pretty cool idea.
Sure.
What are some of the charms and the lessons they represent?
Well, the first charm is a pair of glasses, representing the importance of perspective. It's about choosing how you view the world and focusing on solutions rather than problems.
That's a powerful reminder. It's easy to get caught up in negativity, but it's ultimately our choice how we perceive things. What's the next charm?
A blank canvas, symbolizing the power of creation and the importance of expressing your unique gifts and talents. He challenges them to unleash their creativity and make their mark on the world through their work.
That's inspiring. It's a reminder that we all have something special to offer, and it's up to us to share those gifts with the world. What other charms does he give them?
He gives them a brain representing the importance of lifelong learning, a set of barbells symbolizing discipline and resilience, a heart representing the power of love and connection, a clock reminding them of the preciousness of time, a dollar sign symbolizing abundance and financial freedom, a compass representing the importance of finding your true north and aligning your actions with your values, a light bulb symbolizing innovation and a growth mindset, a padlock representing the importance of protecting your energy and focus, and finally, a miniature coffin, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of living each day to the fullest.
Wow, that's a lot of powerful symbolism. It seems like each charm represents a different facet of a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to personal growth, encompassing not just productivity and success, but also creativity and love purpose and the appreciation of life's precious moments.
I'm really starting to see the depth of this book. It's so much more than just a guide to waking up early. What happens after he gives them the charms? Where does the journey take them next?
Well, remember, they're in Sao Paulo for a reason. The artist and entrepreneur are getting married.
Yeah.
But before the big day, the billionaire has one final, crucial lesson to impart.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What's his final lesson?
He tells them the story of Nelson Mandela, the South African anti-apartheid revolutionary who spent 27 years in prison.
Nelson Mandela. That's a powerful figure to invoke. What's the connection to the 5 a.m. club?
He emphasizes that despite the unimaginable hardship Mandela endured, he emerged from prison with a spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation. He's showing them the extraordinary power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and choose love over hate.
That's a powerful message, especially in the context of personal growth. It's a reminder that we all face challenges, but it's how we respond to those challenges that defines us.
Exactly. He's teaching them that true strength lies not just in achieving success, but in overcoming obstacles with grace, resilience, and compassion. And then in addition to the charms, he gives them 2 more gifts: his 5 a.m. Club morning mastery meditations and a secret lost chapter.
Wait, meditations and a secret chapter. Tell me more.
He explains that meditation isn't just about relaxation. It's a powerful tool for training the mind, managing stress, enhancing creativity, and unlocking your full potential. He encourages them to make meditation a daily practice, using it as a foundation for their morning routine.
So he's giving them practical tools to help them cultivate inner peace and focus.
Exactly. And the secret lost chapter. Well, it contains some of his most profound insights and personal reflections, offering a glimpse into the depths of his wisdom and the evolution of his own journey. He gifts it to them as a parting gift, a final piece of wisdom to guide them on their continued paths of growth.
What a thoughtful gesture. It's like he's passing on the torch, empowering them to continue their journey of self-discovery.
And then he surprises them with an extraordinary wedding gift, a priceless piece of art created by one of the world's most renowned artists. It's a stunning symbol of his belief in their potential, their love, and their ability to create something truly remarkable together.
Wow, that's incredible. Seems like he's really invested in their success and happiness.
Absolutely. He's not just a mentor, he's become a true friend and supporter. But, as you know, this billionaire loves his surprises. And he's got one more up his sleeve.
Okay, now you've really got me curious. What could possibly top a priceless work of art?
Stay tuned for part 3 to find out. We'll be right back after a short break.
Okay, we're back. And I am so curious about this last surprise. You mentioned something about the billionaire loving his surprises, so it must be good.
It is more than good. It's completely wild. Remember how we talked about stepping outside your comfort zone?
Uh-huh.
Well, he takes this to a whole new level.
Right, I'm all ears. What does he do?
He arranges for them to experience a simulated kidnapping,
What?
complete with fake gunmen and a terrifying escape.
A kidnapping?
I know, right?
That's a bit extreme even for this guy.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but he has a method to his madness. He wants to show them how the 5 a.m. club principles can help you stay calm and focused, even in a high-pressure life-or-death situation.
So like a real-life test of everything they've learned. What happens? Do they pass the test?
The entrepreneur totally shines. She uses the mental toughness, focus, and resilience she's developed through her morning routine to outsmart the kidnappers, and even saves the artist's life in the process.
Wow, that's impressive. It's like she's become a real-life action hero.
Yeah, it's a testament to how these principles can actually transform you, not just in your daily life, but also in those unexpected, challenging moments.
It sounds like the entrepreneur has come a long way from that burned-out workaholic we met at the beginning. What about the artist? How has he been impacted by all of this?
He's found a renewed sense of purpose and inspiration through the 5 a.m. Club. His creativity has skyrocketed, and he's finally able to silence those inner critics that were holding him back.
That's great to hear. It seems like the 5 a.m. Club has been a game changer for both of them, not just in terms of productivity, but also in their personal growth and well-being.
Absolutely. And as they embark on their new life together, they have all those gifts from the billionaire. The magic charms, the morning mastery meditations, and the secret lost chapter to guide them.
It's a beautiful ending to their journey. They faced their fears, transformed their lives, and found love along the way. But what about the message for the rest of us? What can we take away from all of this?
Well, the book ends with a powerful quote from the Spellbinder. Life's too short to play small with your talents. You were born into the opportunity as well as the responsibility to become legendary.
That's inspiring. But how do we actually apply that to our own lives?
Yeah.
We might not all have a billionaire mentor whisking us off to exotic locations for life-changing lessons.
True. But the core message is this. It's not about the hour you wake up. It's about taking ownership of your life. It's about designing a life that aligns with your values and committing to becoming the best version of yourself.
So it's about making a conscious choice to step into your greatness, regardless of your circumstances.
Exactly. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or just someone looking to level up their life, the principles in the 5 a.m. Club offer a roadmap for achieving peak performance, finding fulfillment, and making a meaningful impact on the world.
It all starts with that first step, that decision to take control and create the life you truly desire.
And who knows, maybe we'll all be waking up a little earlier and embracing those victory hours.
This has been an incredible deep dive. Thanks for guiding us through this insightful and inspiring journey. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energized and ready to take on the world.
Me too. Remember, greatness is not an accident, it's a choice. And it's a choice we can make every single day.